If you're planning a trip to Europe and looking for a destination that delivers stunning views, incredible food, world-famous wine, and still feels surprisingly affordable, this is the video you need to watch. Porto is one of the most visually striking cities in Europe, but here's what most people don't realize. Without a smart plan, it's incredibly easy to waste time going up and down hills, missing key spots, and not fully experiencing what makes this place special. In this video, you'll discover exactly how to spend 3 perfect days in Porto with a strategic, easy-to-follow itinerary designed to maximize your time and minimize stress. If you enjoy practical travel guides like this, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss upcoming destinations. And tell me in the comments, what's the first thing you'd want to do in Porto? Now, let's begin. Now that you've seen what's coming, let's start with the first essential step to planning your trip the right way. Best time to visit Porto. Porto is a year-round destination, but each season offers a completely different experience. Spring, from March to May, is one of the best times to visit, with mild temperatures, blooming landscapes, and fewer crowds compared to summer. Summer, from June to August, brings warm weather and a vibrant atmosphere, with festivals and lively streets, but also higher prices and more tourists. Fall, especially September and October, is another excellent option, combining pleasant weather with fewer crowds and stunning golden tones across the Douro River. Winter, from November to February, is the quietest period, with lower prices and a more local feel, but also cooler temperatures and occasional rain. If you're looking for the best balance between weather, cost, and experience, late spring and early fall are usually the smartest choices. How to get around Porto. Porto is a compact and highly walkable city, especially in the historic center, which makes exploring on foot the best and most rewarding option. However, for longer distances or hilly areas, public transportation is very efficient. The metro system is modern, clean, and easy to use, with tickets costing around 1.50 to 2 euros per ride, depending on the zone. Buses and trams are also available, with similar pricing, and can be useful for reaching specific areas like Foz do Douro. Uber is widely available and very affordable compared to most European cities, with short rides often costing between 5 and 10 euros. Taxis are slightly more expensive, but still reasonable. Renting a car is generally not recommended, unless you plan to explore outside the city, as Porto's narrow streets and limited parking can make driving more stressful than convenient. Where to stay in Porto? Choosing the right area can significantly improve your experience. Ribeira, the historic riverside district, is one of the most picturesque areas to stay, with colorful buildings and stunning views of the Douro River. But it can be slightly more expensive and busy. Baixa, the downtown area, offers the best balance between location, price, and accessibility, with easy access to major attractions, restaurants, and transportation. Cerro Feita is a great option for a more local and artistic vibe, with boutique hotels and lower prices. Vila Nova de Gaia, across the river, is ideal if you want quieter surroundings and incredible views of Porto, often with slightly better hotel prices. In general, you can expect simple budget hotels to range from around 50 to 90 euros per night, comfortable mid-range options between 100 and 180 euros, and luxury hotels starting around 200 euros and going well beyond 400 euros depending on the location and season. Each area offers a different experience, but staying central will save you time and energy during your trip. Airport tips. Porto's main airport, Francisco Sá Carneiro Airport, is located about 20 to 30 minutes from the city center. The most convenient and budget-friendly way to get to downtown Porto is by metro, specifically the E line, which connects the airport directly to the city for around €2. Uber is another excellent option, typically costing between 15 and 25 euros, depending on traffic and your destination. Taxis are available, but slightly more expensive. If you're arriving late at night or carrying heavy luggage, Uber is usually the most comfortable choice. Overall, getting from the airport to the city is simple, fast, and relatively inexpensive. Day 1. Historic Center and Porto's most iconic landmarks. Start your morning at Fábrica Coffee Roasters, a favorite among locals for its specialty coffee and relaxed atmosphere, with breakfast costing around 6 to 10 euros, making it a perfect, high-quality start to your day without stretching your budget. Then head early to Livraria Lelo, one of the most famous bookstores in the world. Its neo-Gothic architecture, intricate woodwork, stained glass ceiling, and iconic red staircase create a space that feels almost surreal. For years, there have been rumors that J.K. Rowling may have drawn inspiration from this bookstore while living in Porto, influencing parts of the Harry Potter universe. While this has never been officially confirmed, the connection became so strong that the bookstore turned into a global attraction. Today, it receives between 3,000 and 5,000 visitors per day. Entry costs around €8, redeemable on a book purchase. Insider tip: arrive at least 20 to 30 minutes before opening or book priority access. Lines can get extremely long, and visiting early is the best way to experience it with fewer crowds. Continue to the Torre dos Clérigos, a 75-meter tall Baroque tower that defines Porto's skyline. Climb the 200-plus steps to reach the top, where you'll get a breathtaking 360-degree view over the city, the Douro River, and beyond. Entry is around €6. Just a short walk away, visit the Igreja do Carmo, one of the most visually striking landmarks in Porto, instantly recognizable by its massive blue and white azulejo tiles depicting historical scenes, covering the entire side facade with intricate detail that tells religious narratives in a uniquely Portuguese way. Built in the 18th century, the church is part of a unique twin structure alongside the Igreja dos Carmelitas, separated by one of the narrowest houses in Porto, originally designed to prevent contact between monks and nuns. Even if you don't go inside, the exterior alone makes this a must-stop location, and one of the most photographed spots in the city. For lunch, head to Brasão Coliseu, one of the best places to try the iconic francesinha, a rich and indulgent sandwich covered in melted cheese and a flavorful sauce, with prices around 14 to 18 euros. In the afternoon, stop at the Estação de São Bento, often considered one of the most beautiful train stations in the world. Inside, over 20,000 hand-painted tiles illustrate key moments of Portugal's history, turning a simple transit hub into a cultural landmark. Then head up to the Sé do Porto, the city's cathedral, with its fortress-like structure and one of the best panoramic viewpoints over the historic center and the Douro River. Originally built in the 12th century, the cathedral has been expanded over time, blending Romanesque, Gothic, and Baroque elements into a single imposing structure. Inside, you'll find a striking mix of architectural styles, but one of the highlights is the cloister, decorated with beautiful blue and white azulejo tiles that depict religious scenes in a more intimate and detailed setting. Entry to the cloisters costs around €3. From the terrace, you'll get one of the most strategic views in the city, overlooking the rooftops of Ribeira and the river below, perfect for photos, especially in the late afternoon light. As the day winds down, walk toward Ribeira, the most iconic district in Porto, where colorful buildings line the river and create one of the most recognizable views in the country. Cross the Ponte Dom Luís I, the city's most famous bridge, designed by a student of Gustav Eiffel. Walking across the upper level offers one of the most breathtaking perspectives of Porto, especially at sunset. On the other side, arrive at Jardim do Morro, where locals gather every evening to watch the sunset over the city. The atmosphere becomes almost like a spontaneous event. People sitting on the grass, music playing, and the entire skyline glowing in golden light. End your day with dinner at Taberna dos Mercadores, a small traditional restaurant serving authentic Portuguese dishes, with meals around 20 to 30 euros. Insider tip: this is a small, highly popular restaurant with limited seating, so it's very common for lines to form. Try to arrive early or slightly before peak dinner hours to secure a table without a long wait. Day 2. Culture, wine, and hidden gems. Start your day at Do Norte Cafe by Hungry Biker, a hidden gem known for its fresh and healthy breakfast options, with prices around 7 to 12 euros. The atmosphere here is relaxed and slightly more local, making it a great contrast to the more tourist-heavy areas you explored on day 1. Then visit the Palacio da Bolsa, a 19th century building that once served as Porto's stock exchange and a symbol of the city's commercial power during that time. Inside, the level of detail is extraordinary. But the highlight is the Arab room, inspired by Moorish design, with intricate gold patterns, arches, and geometric details that create an almost palace-like setting. Entry is around 10 euros and includes a guided tour, which adds important historical context and makes the experience much more meaningful. Next, explore the nearby Igreja de São Francisco, known for its incredibly ornate interior, covered almost entirely in gold leaf. From the outside, it looks relatively simple, but once inside, the contrast is striking. It's estimated that hundreds of kilograms of gold were used in its decoration, creating an intense and almost overwhelming visual experience that makes it one of the most unique churches in Europe. For lunch, head to Adega São Nicolau, a traditional restaurant near Ribeira, offering authentic Portuguese cuisine in a cozy setting. It's a great place to try dishes like grilled fish or octopus, with prices around 15 to 25 euros. In the afternoon, cross once again over to Vila Nova de Gaia, where the famous port wine cellars are located. Walk across the Ponte Dom Luís I for one of the best panoramic views in the city. This time, you'll appreciate it from a different perspective, especially in the softer afternoon light. Once in Gaia, take some time to explore the waterfront, where you'll have a stunning view back toward Porto's colorful skyline. Visit a renowned winery like Caves Ferreira or Graham's, where you'll learn about the production process and enjoy a tasting for around 15 to 25 euros. This is one of the most essential experiences in Porto, combining history, culture, and flavor in a way that truly defines the region. On your way back toward the bridge, make a strategic stop at Casa Portuguesa do Pastel de Bacalhau, located right in the Gaia waterfront area. This spot became famous for elevating one of Portugal's most traditional snacks, the codfish cake, by serving it filled with creamy Serra da Estrela cheese, often paired with a glass of port wine. Prices are around 5 to 8 euros, making it a quick but memorable experience. It's a perfect mid-afternoon stop that fits naturally into your route without slowing down the itinerary. Before dinner, make a quick stop at McDonald's Imperial. Even if you're not planning to eat, step inside. It's set in a former historic cafe with chandeliers, stained glass, and elegant details, making it one of the most unique McDonald's locations in the world. End your day with dinner at Tapa Bento, one of the highest rated restaurants in Porto, known for its creative take on Portuguese cuisine and consistently excellent reviews, with prices around 25 to 35 euros, making it a great choice to wrap up your second day on a high note. Day 3. Local life, markets, and final highlights. Begin your day at Mercado do Bolhão, one of the most authentic places to experience daily life in Porto. Recently renovated, the market blends tradition with a modern structure while preserving its original soul. Local vendors selling fresh produce, seafood, meats, and traditional delicacies in a lively, genuine atmosphere. Grab a casual breakfast here for around 5 to 10 euros while observing how locals interact, shop, and start their day. After exploring the market, step out into the surrounding area and walk along Rua de Santa Catarina, one of the city's main pedestrian streets. Here, you'll find a mix of local shops, traditional bakeries, and everyday Porto life happening in real time. Just a few minutes away, make a quick stop at Capela das Almas, a small chapel completely covered in blue and white azulejo tiles, depicting scenes from the lives of saints. Simple, but visually striking, and often missed by travelers rushing through the area. For lunch, head to Caçagueres, a true local favorite known for its roasted pork sandwich with cera da estrela cheese. It's simple, affordable, and incredibly flavorful, with prices around 8 to 12 euros. Right after lunch, walk a few steps to Manteigaria, one of the best places in Porto to try the iconic pastel de nata. Freshly baked throughout the day, with a perfectly crispy crust and creamy filling, it's the ideal dessert and a must-try experience, usually costing around 1 to 2 euros. In the afternoon, continue your exploration with a few carefully selected spots depending on your pace. You can visit the Jardim do Palácio de Cristal for one of the most beautiful panoramic views over the Douro River, offering a quieter and more relaxed atmosphere. Alternatively, walk through the elegant streets near Avenida dos Aliados, where Porto's architecture feels grand and open, or revisit any area that caught your attention earlier in the trip. This is the moment to slow down and experience the city without pressure. Then, stop for a coffee at Majestic Café, one of the most historic cafes in Porto. With its Belle Époque interior, ornate mirrors, and classic design, it feels like stepping back in time. Expect to spend around 10 to 15 euros for the experience, but it's as much about the atmosphere as it is about the coffee. As your trip comes to an end, head back toward Ribeira or cross once more into Vila Nova de Gaia for a final walk along the Douro River. The late afternoon light reflecting over the colorful buildings creates a completely different mood from your first visit. Calmer, more reflective, and the perfect way to close your journey. For your farewell dinner, you can choose a riverside experience at places like Ribeira Square restaurants, known for their views and lively atmosphere, or opt for a more refined setting in Gaia, with restaurants like the Yateman restaurant area options or similar wine-focused venues, typically ranging from 25 to 50 euros depending on your choice. Insider tip: arrive a bit earlier for your final dinner and take a few extra minutes just to sit by the river before eating. Those quiet moments often become the most memorable part of the entire trip. By the end of this third day, you won't just feel like you visited Porto, you'll feel like you truly experienced it. From iconic landmarks and unforgettable views to local flavors and hidden corners, this itinerary gives you the perfect balance of structure and freedom. And as you sit by the river on your final night, there's a good chance you'll already be thinking about coming back. If this guide helped you plan your trip, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next destination. And now I want to hear from you. What was your favorite part of Porto, or what would you be most excited to experience? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next journey. Travel smart, experience deeper, explore further with the Ultimate Travel Guide.